Well, hey there, guys. We're back here at the farm again today. It's Saturday. Actually, I'm back here at the farm right now. I left super early this morning before the sun came up and got here around 8 in the morning. And then dropped off some things at the barn and popped into Ithaca and did a few errands. But honestly, I'm about ready for a nap. It's been a long morning already, so I'm going to get a little bit of weed whacking done. I'm actually going to do a little bit of trimming around the entrances to the barn. And there's this lovely space right here under this tree that basically stays shady all day long because of the low-hanging canopy. So I'm actually going to trim up a little space here, and I'm going to set up a tent. And I think I'm going to take a nap after I do the weed whacking. I'm waiting on Christine. She was over in Montclair this morning, and she is currently on her way. We're going to spend the rest of the weekend starting on, I guess, what we would say is our first major project. Let me give you a little peek here. So this building right here, which we lovingly refer to as the hen house, it's been mentioned that they may have used this as a chicken coop at one point. I think it's kind of big for a chicken coop. Maybe they had them in one of the rooms. More likely, honestly, I'm looking at it, it looks like they used one half for food storage. It had electrical service at one point. It had some refrigerators and freezers, which are still in there and have to be removed. And then, you know, the front room sort of looks like it's set up as a workshop. It's sort of hard to tell. There's a lot of things just kind of stacked and willy-nilly put in there. And it's hard to know whether they were put in there for a purpose to use it as something, or if it was just stored in there after the fact. From all the signs that I've seen, the last time this was actively a farm was probably the late 70s, like 78, 79. So it's been, you know, probably 40 years since this was actually a working farm. And some of the buildings show it for sure. So the plan is to take this building here and turn it into a small cabin, if you will. A place that is dry, that the windows, like you can see right here, this top floor has actually been used by owls as a nesting space for quite a while. And you can tell because there's big piles of, I can't remember what they're called now, but basically owl pellets. When an owl eats something, it digests it whole and it comes out as a whole nugget, if you will, skeleton and all. And there's like piles of them in the corner. So some big owls have been living in here. Sorry, guys. Last time I was up, I closed this window, which has no glass in it, but I think that stopped the owls from flying in. And I'm going to fix that window today or this weekend. And we're going to clean the whole place out. We've got some pretty cool plans for it. I will quickly show you inside so that you can get an idea for what it looks like now. And it's probably going to be hard to envision what I'm envisioning for this little building, but stick with us. It's going to be awesome. So here we go. Here's the tour of the inside. So the way it stands now, it's sort of a, you know, rustic barn door, if you will. This door actually opens up to reveal the entire opening, a giant side of the building. So, you know, I think this was some sort of workshop at one point. And then you have a door here that enters into the loft. Basically, you turn those two little pieces, that whole thing opens up and you're in the upstairs. In here, you will see it's just kind of a mess. Much like the owls who have been using the upstairs as sort of their condominium, the chipmunks have been using this level as their apartment complex. So I don't know exactly what we're going to find in here. We've got an old Westinghouse refrigerator. I think that is going to go into the barn, and we're going to hang on to that for now. If it runs, once we get electricity, we may use that. These old freezers, I don't know. I mean, they're vintage, certainly. I don't think they're in amazing shape. I have no idea if they work or not. I might put them on the local Craigslist and see if anybody wants them, to tinker with and see if they can get them working. All kinds of interesting things in here. There's sort of a bin from the previous owners that has some like lawn care tools, some clippers and some oil for the weed whacker and things like that. There's some old wicker seat chairs that the wicker's missing. Vintage bottles galore. I see a Genesee beer can right over there, the old oil top kind. You can see here, these look like waffle makers, I believe, but this is where the chipmunks have been doing their deal. There's like these stashes like this all over inside here. So you can see these are the ones that they have not eaten yet. Those are the ones they've eaten. So that's all got to be cleaned out. When you come into the front here, this is kind of cool. I mean, there's stacks of National Geos in here from the early 50s, late 40s, early 50s. That's kind of cool. Other interesting books and almanacs that are kind of interesting. I'll probably hang one of those at least temporarily. Here's the part where, it's questionable. Was this actually a hen house at one point? It's kind of like a box to lay eggs in, but honestly, I think it's a little small. I think it's more probably it was bins for parts or something like that. Other just weird stuff, leftover canning supplies, an old metal desk of some sort of work desk. This is actually bolted to the wall, so they were using it for something here. An old, what is it, Silvertone? Yeah, so that would be Sears or Montgomery Ward's. I think Silvertone is Sears. So an old Silvertone record player, a little bucking saw with no handles, another stash, if you notice, an old chair that's been flipped upside down and the chipmunks have been just storing pine cones in it. And then all these little tilt-in windows. Here's the old electrical service. I don't think that would be up to code anymore. But, at one point they had lights in here. They've got, outlets on the ceiling like you would be working. So if you've already got the light bulbs, I don't know why you would probably make that the heat lamp for heat. I don't know why you would have this too. So I think this was probably a workspace. And then here's another interesting tidbit. So this is there's stuff in it. It's a handmade grain chute. I don't really know what the purpose of that is either, but I want to say that this is where they stored their grain for their animals maybe. And if you look up here, I'm going to go up to the second floor to this trap door that somebody cut into the ceiling at some point. You can see over there in the corner, that's what I'm talking about. There's our owl pellet piles, and there's one in that corner. There's one over here. They've definitely been living up in here. But this is a really big space in here. So the plan is, as you can see these walls that were built, this is the grain bins, and that goes down into those chutes. So super interesting. The plan for right now is that this first half, we're going to pull all these floorboards up and possibly pull out one or two of the joists, because this is, if you notice, a actual post and beam building. These center joists hold the floor up. They don't hold the building up. We probably will put some little, things here and there to stiffen things up a little bit, some bracing, but we want to open this up so that the front room is a nice big open room and put a bunch of windows in this front wall. So this back portion, which is actually really quite big, would become a sleeping loft, and it's a big sleeping loft. Like a lot of times you have to climb up a ladder and you're hunched over and there's really not much space. This one you can fully stand up almost the whole way side to side. So imagine this, all these gone. So this is all a big open room down here. This is sort of a living space, fireplace here in the corner. I've got a deal on an elm stove, which I know are like hen's teeth these days. No pun intended, the hen house. But we're probably gonna have a beautiful reconditioned elm stove right here. And then we'll have, a decent sized living area space, a ladder up to the sleeping loft. And then in this back area, we'll put a kitchen and some sort of bathroom-ish thing. This will not be a fully, this will be sort of like a parks cabin, if you will. There won't be working plumbing and toilet and all that kind of stuff in here. But we probably will have a gray water system so that you can take a shower and that you can do some dishes. So that's sort of the plan. This door, as you can see, there's a big door here that slides. That's probably where the door is going to go. We're probably going to frame this out and put a door here, and then frame this where this door is and put a wall here so that you can have like some kitchen area here, windows, maybe a counter with a sink right here, maybe something like that. I don't know. We got to figure out the layout. The first thing is to get this place completely cleaned out and to get it sealed up from the elements and the critters, because we have both chipmunks, birds, and owls that are frequenting this building, and we need to keep them out so that we can clean it and sort of sanitize it. So our plan is we are going to sweep this entire place out very thoroughly. We will then probably, and that will be, with N95 dust masks and all that good stuff on. We will then probably suit up in a proper, silicone face mask respirator and use a leaf blower to just really blow any fine particulates out of the building and get it as clean as possible. And once we've done that, my plan is to use a 5% bleach solution and to basically kind of spray everything down and sterilize it, let it dry, and then we're going to pressure wash it out. Without actually ripping everything out and putting all new wood in, which of course isn't going to happen. These are, 12 by 12 and 14 by 14 beams that we would very much like to keep and make this building really cool and usable again. That's probably going to be it. We'll probably do some sanding of floors and staining and finishing and things and make it kind of nice. But it's going to be a little rustic. It's going to be, like a quite fancy state or national park cabin, if you will. right, so obviously the weed whacker has defeated me, but we've got other projects to do. I'm not giving up just yet. So I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit. It wasn't ours, it was here. I did get it started for a couple seconds the other day and it ran. Now, for some reason, I put fresh gas in it and it hates it. So I don't really know what the deal is with that. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna set up a tent. We're gonna set it up right here underneath this tree. It's lovely, it stays shady most of the day. So it should be a nice place to curl up and sort of take a nap. So here we go, let's set up a tent. All right, so that took me a minute. Not my tent. Second time I put it up. And this one is supposed to be a really good tent. It's a north face tent. It's to be like, you know, with the different flies that convert onto the top, a really good all-weather tent, but it's kind of a pain to put up. The one that I've got is probably not nearly as rugged, but it only has 2 poles and it goes up in like 45 seconds, which is kind of nice. But this is nice. You know, you got the pass through there. It's kind of the big screen, and the wind going through. The wind kind of comes from this direction, so I faced it that way. I am going to put away this bag and lock up the barn door, and then I'm going to go into my truck and I'm going to grab my solo camping mattress and my sleeping bag and toss them in there, and I'm going to take a nap and wait for Christine to show up, and then we'll figure out where we go from there. All right, well, power nap achievement unlocked. I just took a solid hour nap underneath this giant tree in the tent. And other than it being a little warm today, it's like in the 90s, it was lovely. I guess I should probably get up and get something done now. So shortly after I woke up from my power nap, Christine arrived and we got right to cleaning up around the potting shed. We finally got that Ryobi string trimmer fired up. And even though it was running pretty rough, we managed to clean up the brush around the potting shed. We then moved on to cleaning out the contents of the potting shed. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you, that was a pretty gross job. So we started by clearing whatever this invasive bamboo-y kind of thing is. If you guys know what this is, here it is. It's sort of this stalky bamboo material. It's got a broad leaf. It's not particularly wet on this side of the barn, although,
look how tall it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's, I mean, I'm sure it grows even taller than that, but that's a good 8 feet tall. It's got this, we got this really nice, it's certainly not dry, beautiful soil around this building. It will grow something really well once we get rid of this.
It's not the weeds.
So let us know what that is. But we've got it, so the sides of the building are clear. We got this lovely little bluebird box here. We have to put a lid on that so that that can be used and clean it out. We've got all the windows open now. At one point, I broke some yesterday. And other than the window on the top floor, this building is pretty much secure. The windows close.
Yeah, we've got a couple
it has wire.
there.
So you can see the birds, let me zoom in, have taken advantage of where knot holes were. And you can see they're not pecking, that's where they land. They land on that hole and then they go in. So that's the scraped up part. But so I'm gonna, from the inside, I'm gonna put some heavy 1/4-inch wire mesh over those holes temporarily, just so that we keep the birds and the chipmunks out. Cover up any of those holes.
Oh, this was a fun little find. Covering it.
Oh yeah. So historically, like I said, I think they use this for like potting, shed, granary, you know, to an extent. So I keep finding, like, here was a top of a coffee can or a tin can that they put over a knot. Obviously animals were getting in there at some point. So we've got this side pretty well cleaned out. We got a little bit to do here. This side has been chopped down. The plan is to, I guess, dig up as much of these roots as possible. So
just around the hen house.
Yeah, so we're going to.
Although I could go with potting shed if you like that better.
Yeah.
Although then people are going to want to smoke pot in it. So
Yeah.
That's a bad idea.
I don't know. Whatever, we'll figure it out. It'll be the hen house. It'll be the potting shed.
If you've got suggestions, leave them for us in the comments.
Yeah, tell us what you think it was by the way it's laid out. Obviously, over the years, you can see down on this side here, right there, this was a bigger opening here at one point. And then they've changed the formatting of it a bunch of times. I could see, I actually just found when I was cleaning the upstairs that it had a stairwell in it at some point, like a proper, I don't know if it was a proper stairwell, but when you get upstairs, yeah, let's go inside and see what we've accomplished. It's actually pretty clean in here comparatively. I still have to wrestle this beast out and do something with it. Oh, so here there were some holes in the floor that obviously had been worn in, but also it looked like probably chipmunks, I'm guessing. We'll go with that because that's what's terrorizing us right now is chipmunks.
Oh, they're so cute. I'm not terrorized by them. I would like to adopt
So
them.
this is what I found as their solution to keep that covered, were these license plates, a vanity visit the Finger Lakes, good family fun, it says.
And boy, is it.
And then this set of 62 Empire State plates. And then this one had a screw-on 63 piece. So anyway, so this room is pretty much cleaned out. I mean, it's devoid of all the junk, and the heavy stuff has been cleaned out. I have to deconstruct this box. We're gonna take down all of this.
I was originally thinking those were chicken roosts, but I have since reconsidered. And I think they may have just been bins for different, like, potting supplies or things like that.
Yeah, or parts, you know. Yeah, like that's what I think too. I think they're
because what was in here before that I thought was a roost, we figured out there was actually, if you noticed before, there was a bar across here, and it was to just allow the windows to tip in a little bit, so you can see there's a little extra space here.
Yeah.
And you basically just pull them.
Yeah.
And they would vent you. They'd give you maybe 2 or 3
Well,
inches.
here's an example. So this is, I don't want to mess with this because these are all kind of precariously nailed into place and whatever, but you can see this would have tilted in and rested, which allows you ventilation.
It's a very inexpensive solution for an awning window.
It's interesting. All this is going to come out.
That.
What?
You got a little space.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so we got this front room completely cleaned out.
And
I still
now
have a
it's
few
clean.
things.
We can see the sag a little bit too. We knew it was sagging on this front end where we've got some floor separation.
Yeah.
But you can also see it slopes that way.
Yeah, the middle, right over here, this middle needs to be jacked up a couple of inches.
Yeah, and this,
we're going to take care of that.
This side's higher than the other, so a little bit leveling.
So we've got this all cleared out. This is my next spot. I'm going to be working on this once Christine leaves today. So we've got this opened up. This is the second floor. Interestingly, so if you notice right here, this is where I believe there used to be a stairwell or like a ladder stair. Can you see it?
Yeah.
And that would have made sense against this wall. You would have, come up to this floor. They cut this out and they removed the beam that was here, the joist. They cut it in half. We'll have to see how we fix that. This is the half I think we're going to keep as the bedroom sleeping loft. But I've got this door open now. You can see it looks out to the thing. Oh, look at that, right up here. Big Poppy, the old namesake Poppy Hill Farm is coming out.
See the poppies popping?
Yeah, the poppies are popping. So we got these trees trimmed up a little bit, so we got some space here around the barn. Overall, I think we got a lot accomplished on this building today. So yeah, I think that's going to end it for this time. That's going to be, I feels like this is the end of a video. I don't know. A good stopping space. So thanks for sticking. It looks like Sanford and Son. What is going on here? And it's going to get better. We're trying to save all this wood and reclaim as much of it as we can to rip down, to make battens, to fix this building and use everything that was in it.
There's a cool old fridge that's in decent shape. So
this is going to go into the barn for now.
We may try to restore that.
It's actually, well, look at this. I was nervous. Those are water blocks for to keep it cold if the power goes out. But it was actually, it doesn't smell at all. It's actually clean inside. I was definitely, when I first opened this, I was like, I don't know if I want to open it. I'm scared. But I'm like, okay, I got to see. So yeah, we're hoping that when we power this up, this thing works and we can sand it and paint it.
He hopes more than I hope.
Well, it's a very cool old fridge, cool. How much a Smeg would be like $7,000. Yeah. So, and this is free and potentially works. So we're going to see. Anyway, so that is it for this time, I think, from here at Big Spruce Farm. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please like the button, give us the like thing. Try to go ahead and subscribe, get your bell on, share with your friends and family. I'm not sure if this will be relevant at this point, but I know that we're setting up like a website and a Patreon and some other things like that. So look in the description. If we've done those things, I know we have an Instagram, so follow us on Instagram. We may have a website and a Facebook and a Patreon. Consider, becoming a Patreon. There's going to be some pretty cool perks. Stickers, hats, shirt merch, and the ability to come hang with us and do some special events, I think. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.